everybody. We're going to the Fishing Expo in Philadelphia.
Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel InterFishing. In this video, you will visit the Philadelphia Fishing Show. It is a 3-day fishing show held at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. I invite you to join me on the second day of the show. The ticket cost is $12.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, good, and you?
Doing all right.
Cypress. There you go, thank you.
Perfect,
Enjoy
thank you.
the show.
This ticket gives you access to the entire floor with hundreds of vendors and also allows you to visit the great seminars presented by the Fisherman magazine. The show is perfect for all beginners and professional anglers as long as the kids. Near the entrance on the left, you see the Fisherman magazine stand. That is where you can sign up for the Fisherman magazine, the main fishing magazine in the Northeast. If you are lucky, you can even chat with the magazine's editors. While it is impossible to show every vendor in this video, I will walk you through all row and stop by the most interesting ones. Here you can talk to the captain of your favorite fishing charter. You can test the fishing gear from Dreamcatcher.
Jersey nuts.
Or talk to a Bass Pro Shops representative. One of the private charters with the cool name Jersey Nuts are here as well. I am heading to an interesting corner with the information about the Lake Ontario fishing charters. This salmon is so real. More charters from New York and Pennsylvania. Here you can see the boat exhibition. I will return to this section later to give it a closer look. Walking Trough the Rows, I stopped by the Suzuki boat motors. For some reason, the smallest motor Suzuki 2.5 horsepower DF 2.5S5 attracted my attention. With a special show price of $739, it would have been a good deal. If you bring your kids to the show, probably this is where they spend most of their time. For a few bucks, you may send your boy or girl to try a real fishing in this trout pond. The beautiful pool with blue water and live fish would make them feel like real anglers. With a rented fishing rod, line and lure kids can try their luck, often with the help of their parents, of course. What a great way to introduce your children to fishing. Meanwhile, I am moving on to the fly fishing section of the show. Rockstar's hoppers, stoneflies, caddis, terrestrials, evergers, and many others will make any fly fisherman feel like in haven. Heavy-duty Titan Zinger retractor looked really good to me. The fly strikers are the great spinners for trout. Vintage fishing reels and rod stand will be especially interesting to those who wants to learn about the history of fishing and the collectors. Mob Squad Sport Fishing is a Maryland-based fishing charter. Mainline Fly Tyers Club, consisting of both junior and senior members, is dedicated to the sport of fly fishing and the art of fly tying. Custom-built tackle.
Yeah. You guys all into deep sea fishing?
We do some of the shows.
Who wouldn't want to have this cutie on their desk?
Giving the kids a free ticket, all right? So right here.
There is a decent choice of RVs from Fret's RV. As I keep exploring the show, I see the Near Fall Fishing Charters. Based in Belmar, New Jersey, Near Fall Fishing Charters offers trips to the Atlantic Ocean on a board of a 35-foot boat. The old surfboard from Surfboard Taxidermy turned into a beautiful piece of art will be ideal for those who is looking to decorate their house. A new screwy head jig from Stack Tackle caught my attention.
3 ounces, 8 inches. These are
First
1.8.
ever. Multi-head jig, don't have to unscrew your jig head ever. Untie.
These are 1.8
Tie on,
ounces, 4.5 inches.
change the weight,
Change the weight.
put the
That's
thing
smart,
on.
that's smart.
Just
Yeah.
introduced.
Baby bump. Yeah.
Got exploding right now.
If you love ocean and whales, that is the right place for you.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
What are the stinky balls?
Stinky balls. So
How does it work?
it works like this. So this is ground down bait fish, shellfish, and worm.
Okay.
Put into a ball. You're going to slide it right on a hook, like 1 or 2
Yeah.
balls,
Okay.
and then you're going to use it in addition to or in replacement of what you normally fish with. There's no plastics in this, so this is
Yeah.
safe for the water. You
Gotcha.
get about 20 to 30 minutes of scent, and then you can just leave it in the water when you're done.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year shelf life
Is it
in the
is it
jar.
for salt water fishing?
This
or
is freshwater, this is saltwater.
Oh, I see. And what kind of fish do you target with this?
So whatever you would normally use, like if you would use shrimp as a bait, then you would use the shrimp
The
scent.
shrimp stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But this, if it says shrimp, it has actual shrimp in the ball.
And does it dissolve in the water? Or
Yeah, it
just
dissolves in the water. Yep. So you get 20 to 30 minutes. It's going to
20 to
change
30.
color, and then you're just going to leave it in the water.
Yeah.
And then the
how
smaller
stinky
ones?
are they?
Well, open and smell. Yeah, it's not. They're water activated, so it shouldn't be too strong, but you should smell it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Interesting.
Yeah. They're $10 a jar, 13 online.
Can I order through your website?
You can order through the website. Yep.
Okay. Do you have a business card?
We don't, but it's just stinkyballs.com.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, I'll find it.
You can take a picture if you want.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. How are you guys?
Have a good day.
Okay, sounds good.
The next section is for kayakers. Singles or doubles, cheap or expansive, new or used kayaks can be purchased from Shady Maple RV. A really cool high-tech test for the fishing rod from Fish NFX. Jerk shads, minnows, and other soft plastic bait from Berkeley Gulp can be found here as well. Based in Cape May, New Jersey, Sea Gear Marine is a great marine supply retailer of everything you need for your life on the water. What fisherman does not dream about a new boat? If you are looking for a small fishing boat, this corner is for you. Yama, Crestliner, Lund. Steel, aluminum, or fiberglass boats are great for fishing or water sports. tired from walking and talking? Take a seat and have a break while enjoying the Hawg Trough by JV Enterprises. A massive aquarium is installed to the show site for the live fishing exhibition. Here you can attend the educational fishing seminars, demonstrating a variety of fish catching, casting, and retrieval techniques.
Popular these days. I am a guide locally at Blue Marsh Lake in Reading, Pennsylvania. I teach all the tactics and techniques that I use every single day to actually go find fish and produce results. No matter what the conditions are, I don't care what day it is, there are no excuses. So you better be prepared to actually gain some skills. In order to throw this confidently, it costs $100. You're probably not going to throw this in a tree or into like a big log jam or something, but that's where it needs to go. The whole point of this stuff is to get their attention, get them swimming around. So at the end of the day, something like that large probably isn't going to catch every single fish in the tank, but what it will do is get their attention. So guys, a lot of this stuff is just designed to get your attention. We're going to see how this swims here, but at the end of the day, you want to try to get bites, right, and catch fish and make contact with everything that's in the area. If it goes over to that log, it's going to eat my lure. If it doesn't, then it's too big of a lure. But I tell you what, all I've done is manage to pull all these fish right over here. Guess what, guys? That's what you're doing while you're fishing. If you are just going down the bank 100 miles an hour, casting every single thing that you see, you are literally throwing a bait in there and then just driving away from the fish. You pull them out to you, just like this, and then you drive it over. But the guy in the back of the boat is catching them.
Now it is time for the fishing seminars.
All right, why don't we go ahead and get started, folks. How's everybody today? Having a good show? All right, good. Captain Alan Lee owns and operates Charter Boat Mushin out of Point Pleasant, based in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and we're here to talk a little bit about tile fishing today, okay? Tell you a little bit about our operation real quickly. You know, we're a 6-pack boat, a 44-foot Henriques. Again, we're based in Manasquan Inlet, so, you know, sort of central Jersey if you're not from that part of the, you know, from the area. Usually in the spring we start in April, we go up to Raritan Bay, we do the striped bass fishing up there, some really good fishing. We fish up there for about a month, we come back down to Manasquan around the second week of May, do some oceanside striper fishing, we do sea bassing, and pretty much by about June 1 we switch into offshore mode and we run offshore pretty much every day we can until about October. We do a lot of tuna fishing, and as many of you in the room are probably also tuna fishing, you know tuna fishing has its good days and bad days. Hopefully we all have good days, but the reality is we sometimes have off days and we still want to fill the box, especially, you know, our charter clients and they're booking a trip, you know, oftentimes when they're booking a trip to go offshore, oftentimes at the end of the day, the reality is they're probably dropping $6,000, $7,000 on a trip. And obviously I want to have a bunch of tuna in the box for them, but a lot of times we spice it up with tile fish. And I think for many people, that's sort of what their introduction to tile fishing has been. It's been sort of those off days of tuna fishing. You're in the canyon area, you're offshore, you're on the edge, and you want to make something out of your day. And you know, you end up dropping to the bottom for some tile fishing. But you know, especially in the last, say, 20 years or so, we've seen tile fishing really emerge as its own entity, you know, where people really have become specialized in it. Many of you maybe sat through Eric Bunz's talk with Eric Bunz from the Reel Seat. Many of you who maybe frequent the Central Jersey area, you know that the Reel Seat in Brielle is sort of, I'm going to refer to it as almost the epicenter of deep drop fishing and tile fishing. The late co-owner Dave R. Beatman was one of the people who really put tile fishing on the map. And some of the private and head boats in the Manasquan River area really were some of the boats that you know made a lot of the advances in tile fishing. So hopefully I can share some of that with you today. If I could, just ask by show of hands, because it's going to help me a little bit with what I talk about. Most of the times we find goldens are your larger tilefish. Historically, they live in different areas, but more and more we're seeing a nice mix at edge of the canyons, usually just inshore the canyons. 300 to 700 feet is usually where we look. Muddy bottom, clay bottom. They also live in colonies. Blue lines tend to be a little bit smaller, okay? 5 to the world record. In fact, I have a picture of a pending world record, is right about 25 pounds. So from our experience though, we find a lot of blue lines that are right around that 20 to 24 pound range. So on a lot of our trips, we're constantly sort of measuring our big fish, wondering if it could be a potential state or world record, because we see a lot of 20, 24 pound fish. Tilefish are very voracious eaters, okay? They're not picky. They're not, we'll talk a little bit about different baits that we use, but they're not picky, they're very voracious eaters. I always put it this way, look, if I lived in like 600 feet of water and I hadn't seen much stuff around and I saw a piece of bait floating by, I think I'd be pretty hungry, okay? Trivia question, anyone know who the guy in the picture is? Anybody? I'm happy. Well, he is happy. Besides from happy, I think he'd like hearing that.
Yeah.
He's the guy we actually have to thank for this show. That's Dave DeGennaro, who actually runs this Philadelphia fishing show. He was on our boat, that was last summer. And we had Dave and Jim Hutchinson from the Fisherman magazine, where we'd gone out and got a bunch of tuna, and then we switched over to tiles. Tiles are also really beautiful. Blue lines are also really beautiful fish. You see up here, there's a nice little sort of iridescent blue. That's not a funky part of the picture. That's actually a characteristic of the blue line. Okay. Getting back to, there was something I forgot to mention in terms of finding tilefish. Historically, and what we still do a lot of times is when we're prospecting, because you don't want to go back to the same spot. You don't want to keep going back to the same well, trip after trip after trip. You end up fishing it out. You have to find some new and different spots. So, not only do we look for clay, muddy bottom, but we often look, especially on topographical charts and maps, and you have these on your chart plotters. We look for sort of tight topography lines. In other words, we look for sharp drop-offs, okay? Because what tiles, again, whether golden or blue line, they like to build their colonies on sort of steep slopes, okay? If you look at how my hand is demonstrating, it's sort of a steeper slope. So we might look for topography lines where it goes from 520 to 490 in a relatively short distance, because we can expect the tilefish colonies to be built into the side of the wall where it's dropping from, let's say, 520 to 490. Strategy-wise, especially for you guys who run your own boats, it's easier for your anglers to fish deep water if you're drifting up the hill, okay? Up the hill. So, of course, we can't control tides, winds, and stuff like that. But sometimes we can pick which side of the canyon we fish on, okay? So if we know the drift is from north to south, if we know the boat is drifting from north to south, for you guys who might fish the Hudson Canyon, we know there's part of the canyon that sort of runs east and west. So if possible, if I know it's a north to south drift, I'm gonna fish the west wall of the Hudson, where I know I start in, let's say, 520 feet of water, and I'm drifting up to, let's say, 490, as opposed to the other way around. Because when people drift fish in deep water and you're going from like 490 to 520, a lot of people just can't keep up with the bottom getting deeper and deeper very quickly. And again, tilefish, they live on the bottom. If you're not on the bottom, you're not going to catch them, okay? Any questions so far? Yes, sir.
What was the spelling of that website? I tried looking.
Yeah, well, look up, I might have given you a slightly, I got all these numbers and letters in my head. I sometimes get them confused. It's MARCO, M-A-R-C-O. It's like Mid-Atlantic Regional, region of the Regional Council of the Oceans.
Mid-Atlantic Ocean.org.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. I've been known to make up stuff. So
I had to scroll a little bit.
gotcha. Yeah. Don't take what I'm saying that seriously. I make up stuff along the way. The H, this is the MH, the medium heavy. So it's just a little bit lighter. Other than that, the characteristics of the rod are very similar.
Is that price for combo, or is that just a?
No, that's I wish it was. Good question. I think that rod MSRP is about $550. That reel, I think MSRP is like 6 and change. But that reel is it was introduced in the fall. In fact, and again, I pro staff for sort of a variable speed adjustment in the front, so you can buzz up your fish as fast or slow as you want. One of the things I will tell you, if you're thinking about getting an electric reel and fishing an electric reel outfit, I would encourage you to fish it out of your hand. And, frankly, I don't like seeing anyone, and any of our clients or customers on the boat sitting there not having the opportunity to fish. So we keep electrics on our boat. Tend to be about 6.5 to 8 foot long. And some of the characteristics of an ideal tile fishing rod: a long rear grip. Long rear grip, because we want to have the opportunity to tuck this rod underneath our armpit as we're cranking on it, and really crank on it. If we need to, if we're getting tired, we want to drop the rod down here, put it sort of, the button right in our groin area, and be able to just extend our left hand as we crank. So we look for things like a long rear grip. Some of the characteristics of the rod blank itself: something that's going to be able to handle 12 to 16 ounces of weight. And when I say weight, it could be either in the form of a sinker or it could be in the form of a jig. One of the things we're going to talk a little bit more about, because it's not your grandfather's tile fishing anymore, is jigging for tile fish. Okay, so something that's going to handle 12 to 16 ounces of weight, but maybe equally important, something that's going to handle maybe a pair of 20-pound tile fish. Okay. So that's about 40 pounds of fish, sort of swimming in different directions. So we want to have a pretty sturdy rod. Back in the day, of course, especially when rods were mainly fiberglass, they were a lot thicker. Things like graphite, carbon fiber, and things like that have really helped make rods a lot thinner than they used to. But whatever it is, you want it rated so that it can handle what we're talking about here. A couple of the favorite rods that we use, or will be using. Let me get out here under the light a little bit. This looks like something that can handle 12 to 16 ounces of weight and a pair of tile fish. Well, the answer is yes, because we're talking about tile fish, right? This is a newer rod that came out. It's the Shimano OSHA, spelled OCEA, jigger motive rod. It's 6'10". It's considered a slow pitch rod, which generally means that the rod is meant to be a very parabolic rod. It sort of laps over very there's a lot of curvature to it. Because all the fancy stuff they use in here, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm a TV commercial, but with the graphite, the carbon tape, and all that stuff, even something like this that looks like something you'd use for fluke is capable of fishing the bottom. Especially if you plan on jigging for tiles. But even if you're bait fishing, again, you're dropping about 3, 4, 5, 600 feet down. You need something that's going to be sensitive. And a lot of these rods that I'm going to show you today, they are very sensitive, and they're very capable rods. So again, with this OSHA jigger, it's got the longer rear grip. It's a 6'10" rod. Some people like a little bit longer rod, but this will definitely do the job really nicely. Okay, and it's a slow pitch rod. I was going to get into it a little bit, but I'll talk about it now. A really nice reel to pair up with this is Shimano's OSHA Jigger 2500 LD. LD is for lever drag, as opposed to a star drag. With the lever drag, we've got a lot more control over how much drag we're going to use or not use. This particular model reel comes in it's called an MG, which is a medium gear, or a high gear. When we're tile fishing, and we'll talk about this some more in a little bit, we're oftentimes cranking a fish from the depths, 20, 30, 40 pounds of fish from the depths. I would encourage you to not use high gear reels, because High gear reels are getting more of like a knuckle busting kind of experience. Use a medium gear reel. It's going to be a lot easier for you to crank. I'll pass this around if you want. Okay. That's the OSHA jigger. Slow pitch rod. It's really designed for jigging. You can definitely still bait fish with it. This is the reel seats rod. It's 7.5 foot, and this is what many of you think of as, well, it is. Many people call an acid wrap rod, where the guides are built. If you look closer, I'll pass it around a little bit. The guides are built to sort of spiral around, so that it starts on the top and your tip top is facing down. And the idea with an acid wrap rod is it reduces the amount of torque sideways and stuff like that. You know, personally, I've never felt like I need an acid wrap rod, but again, a lot of people like to use them. This is Reel Seat's own brand, and you know, again, I don't want to sound like a TV commercial, but the Reel Seat folks, especially with Dave R. Beekman's life, you know, they live for a time.